Okay, so I just purchased the WPRocket plugin and the purchase button changed to install. Now I'm going to click on install. It will take a second and then I will get this feedback saying the plugin was installed successfully. I can navigate to our plugins page and I can see that the WPRocket over here, I just need to activate it. Just like so, I'm going to click activate, and after I did, I can access the new WPRocket plugin from inside our settings tab by going to settings and WPRocket, just like so. Excellent. So now we are inside the WPRocket plugin, and we can see that we have some comments at the top of this plugin to deal with first before we are going to set it up. So first of all, we have this comment over here, but let's start with this one. I will click on no thanks. I don't want to share information with WPRocket. Now here this message telling us that we need to turn off our WordPress default cache. If you ask yourself what is a browser cache, that's a great question, and let me explain. When someone is visiting your website for the first time using, let's say, browser like Chrome, the web browser will contact the server in order to get all the web pages, the images, the files, and the server will send all the files back to the browser. That's a long process that will take a lot of time because that's the first visit. Then your browser going to save and keep all the files. So in the next visit, second, third, etc., it will serve the files that was saved locally and will save a lot of time. So to use the WPRocket cache instead of the default WordPress cache, which is less aggressive, we will go to settings, general, and we will turn off the WordPress default cache by changing this option to off. Click Save Changes, and we will revisit our WPRocket plugin and refresh this page in order to use our WPRocket cache system. Just by activating WPRocket, you will see great improvement in your site speed. However, we can even make it better by going to some of the tabs over here and change some of the options. So for example, under the cache tab, just make sure to enable cache for mobile devices. It already should be enabled. If you didn't, just make sure to check the first box. Nothing to change here, so let's move to file optimization, and here we need to minify the HTML and also minify the CSS files. So what does minify mean? That's a great question. Our website contains many files. Some of them are really long, like this CSS file that I copied from our website. Okay, you can see that it's over 4,000 lines, which is very, very long. Minifying the file means deleting all the extra characters and white spaces that we don't need. The result will be one long CSS line that will save valuable resources from the server. We will need to do it for each and every one of our CSS and JavaScript files. Luckily, WPRocket can do it for us by clicking on this Minify CSS. You will get a warning message that doing so may create some errors. Therefore, we will need to check our website at the end of the process, and if something looks different than what we designed it to be, we will need to uncheck this box again and just resave the changes. Click on Activate, and then let's combine all our CSS files into one file. You'll get the same warning message, click OK, and here we'll optimize the CSS delivery as well. Let's move on to the JavaScript files. We'll do the same for our JavaScript. We'll remove JavaScript migrate and also minify our JavaScript files, combining them together to save resources. And this option will load our JavaScript files in the footer. That means that our content will be displayed first and then our JavaScript will join, which is good. Don't forget, of course, to save the changes. And after you did, we can move on to the next tab, which is the Media tab, and start working with images. So the first thing is to enable lazy load. And lazy load means that only the images in the viewport that the visitor can see will load. When he will scroll down to a different image, then the server will load the other image, and that will save us a valuable time to load them all from the get-go. Because we are using the short pixel plugin, we can leave this enable WebP caching unchecked. If you don't use the short pixel plugin, you can definitely check this box here. Alright, after saving the changes, we are pretty much done. All the other tabs are already predefined for you, and we don't need to change anything or adjust anything over there. The settings are great as they are, and we can just keep it that way. We did the most important things, which are minifying and combining the CSS and the JavaScript files. And when going back to the dashboard tab, we can see that WPRocket already started to concatenate and combining the CSS and the JavaScript files in these both two messages. We can click on refresh to see the progress. And the second we're going to have green feedback on both of them and both messages will disappear, we can check our website speed site one more time. Again, that's a process that will take only a couple minutes, so stay patient and it will be ready in no time. So let's refresh this page one more time. We can see that both messages are now green. The first one completely disappeared, so it's all good, and we can retest our website. First of all, let's make sure our website didn't change and it looks exactly as we want it to look. By visiting the home page, it's definitely look the same. You can also visit the other pages and make sure everything is okay. I'm going to run the test really quick one more time. We can see our score is 75. The loading time is 223 seconds and the requests are 84. Let's run this test one more time. And we can see that after activated the WPRocket plugin, our site score increased dramatically, our loading time decreased dramatically, which is good, and also the request dropped from 84 to 58. That's amazing results, and Google will be very happy with your website. Great job.